In case nobody told you today, you're Knuff. What's up, you guys? Nick at the Lost River Drive-In here, and I'm here to do a review for a movie that if you would have told me a year ago I would be doing a review for this movie, I would have told you that you were high on peyote in the woods. Now, some of you might be high on peyote in the woods, but here I am doing a review for this movie. So why don't we just get on with it? Let's talk about Barbie. Alright, so Barbie tells the story of, obviously, Barbie. Stereotypical Barbie, as we're following, played by Margot Robbie. And Ken, stereotypical Ken, played by Ryan Gosling. They live in Barbie land, and Barbie starts to have things happen to her. So she has to go to the real world to find out why she is changing. And her going into the real world brings things back into Barbie land that change everything. It's insane. It's crazy. That's the plot. I don't want to get into spoilers. It's still opening weekend. If you guys have seen it, awesome. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to tell you at the end of this whether I think you should see it or not. That's basically the basic plot of Barbie. Now, first of all, I want to get my cons out of the way with Barbie. There's only one. Period. It could have been like 10 minutes shorter. That was it. That was it. Here I am, a 28-year-old straight white male sitting here telling you I have like no complaints with Barbie. So this is just going to be a love fest. But I just want to say before I get into what I loved about this movie. Guys, if you're going into a movie about a doll for girls and you're surprised that there is a lot of pro-women messaging in this movie, I don't know what to tell you. Now, having said that, it's a lot deeper than that. We'll get into that as we go through these pros, but the first pro is obviously the acting. Guys, Margot Robbie is awesome. She is Barbie. And there's a couple moments in this movie. There's one where it's literally called out by narration. Like, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you guys have seen it, there's a Helen Mirren narration when it's talking about beauty and whatnot. That is hilarious. Margot Robbie was perfect for this role. Everybody knows she is gorgeous. She's a great actress. She looks like a living Barbie. So perfect. Ryan Gosling. I remember when they first announced him as Ken, I was like, what? And then they give him the blonde, and I'm like, I don't know about this. He was awesome. There is so much about Ken in this movie that is so interesting. He has a really cool journey that he goes on, and he's funny. And a lot of people I've seen say, oh, at times it seems he's overacting. That's literally the entire point. There are absolutely times where he's hamming it up. This movie is satire on satire. So, but it's just, he's brilliant in the role. The unsung hero is Michael Cera as Alan. Okay, look, Michael Cera only has a handful of moments in this movie, but every single one of them is like the funniest part in this movie. The way he can act with his face without using words is hilarious in and of itself. He is so funny without even trying. Alan, Michael Cera, steals the show. He's absolutely hilarious. But, I mean, everybody in the cast. Simu Liu, I'm totally saying that wrong, but he's great. There's literally, Will Ferrell's hilarious in this movie. This movie's just super well cast. Everybody knows what kind of movie they're in, and they're really, really leaning into that. And they're funny. But, again, as I said a few moments ago about the satire, this movie is heavily satirical, and if the humor doesn't work for you, I understand if this movie just won't work for you. Like, you have to be on board with that for this movie to work. And for me, it worked. I thought it was genuinely hilarious. The visuals in here, the set design. I mean, Barbie Land is beautiful. There's nothing really special about when they're in California. I mean, you're obviously seeing real cityscapes and beaches and roads or whatever, and California has its own beauty, but I mean, Barbie Land is like unparalleled in this movie. It is gorgeous. The props, the colors, the vehicles, the houses, I mean, it literally looks like a toy world. I would bet $100 million of the $145 million budget of this movie went to Barbie Land, like straight up. It is just, I mean, I would imagine for somebody that played with Barbies, is probably your wet dream. It looks gorgeous. The thing about this movie that I feel like is getting lost, and this is the biggest pro that I want to talk about with this movie, there is this contingent of people that want to make videos talking shit about how Barbie is woke or Barbie is super feminist, and they're completely missing the point. Now, having said that, I do want to say, if, like my buddy Justin, for example, he did a review where it just wasn't for him, but he wasn't like, oh, so woke, this crap's... No, look, there's a difference. Like, if you're not on board with the satirical comedy and whatnot and the angle they take, that is totally understandable. And if it just doesn't land, it doesn't land. But the people that are like, this is woke, garbage, hashtag cancel Barbie, do you guys understand film? And I say that not to be an asshole, but I'm being like, I'm being earnest here. Like, I really am just asking you a question. Because the first watch, the only watch so far that I've had of Barbie, I picked up on all the messaging. While there are very pro-feminine statements in this movie, rightfully so, especially for the subject matter. I mean, honestly, in 2023, if you're like anti-woman anyway, like dude, what is wrong with you? But there is messaging like that. But there's a lot of it that's satirical too. Like, literally in the beginning when they're talking about how Barbie Land is perfect and it made the world perfect for women and everything is great and awesome and Barbie was this awesome symbol of perfection for women. And that gets called out in the movie. Like, it literally gets called out by teenagers. How that is complete bullshit. So, that, while there is pro-feminism messaging here, and that's not a problem, there's a lot of satire with it too. They're poking fun at it at the same time. They're going so hard into it at times on purpose to make you laugh, not to offend you. And I laughed. Like, a lot of it was like, oh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty on the nose. But above all that, there's another message in this movie, the main message in this movie, which is that life sucks for all of us. All of us are too concerned, too often, with how we are perceived by others. We allow others and society to determine our self-worth, whether you're a man or a woman, no matter who you are. Too often, society's expectations and pressures and standards make us feel like we have to be forced into a box and we have to conform to that. And this movie is about everyone breaking free from that and understanding we don't have to accept that. We can be our own people and we can live our own lives and we can make our own decisions and we can learn to love ourselves and understand ourselves, because life is short and it's precious, but we're human and we should be able to take our own journey. And I loved that so much. And if you're somebody that didn't really pick up on like Ken's plight in this movie, I urge you to go back and watch it. If you watched it one time and you didn't really get it, Ken's plight is so understandable for a man. Like, Greta Gerwig made this movie for men and women, because although you have a lot of the Barbie stuff, the Ken stuff was made for guys. It was like, Ken feels like his whole existence is being noticed by people. That people need to compliment him or make him feel like he's powerful and important for him to have any self-worth. And leaning into those wrong impulses lead him into being the chattiest bro ever in the world. And he realizes that's not me, and that's not who I have to be, and I don't have to feel like somebody telling me I'm cute or asking me on a date or whatever it might be determines my self-worth. And I think that is a super important message for men especially. If you think this movie is just made for women, I'm disappointed. Like, and you're going to be disappointed, I think, a lot of you, if you skip this movie because of that, because there's a lot in here for everyone. And it's just genuinely funny. I had to get the elephant in the room out because I just feel like some people that are always at the forefront of complaining about this kind of stuff and really just pitching a bitch fit about it, they're at it again with Barbie, but it's so misguided and it's so dishonest and it is so just for clicks to drive traffic. Because if you genuinely couldn't see how multi-layered this movie was and how it speaks to everybody, then I feel bad for you. And I hope that you guys can watch it again and see that. But anyway, okay, That's out of the way. Greta Gerwig's direction here is awesome. I think that this movie is very stylistic. I think that she really shows that she knows how to work with actors. I think that she has a feel for the camera, for the set designs. Look, I genuinely have no complaints about this movie. Like, I really, really don't. It's funny, it's fun, it is heartfelt, surprisingly heartfelt. There is a moment where America Ferrera's character is talking about the expectation for women in the world, and like, if that doesn't hit you, you don't have a soul, man. I mean, it is so on the nose. But Barbie's plight and Ken's plight are really emotional. They go on this journey, and it's just, as a human being with emotions, even if you don't like this movie, like, you can go like, you know what, that's pretty well done. That's some good character work there. I just think that this movie is a home run. If you would have told me, like I said, a year ago, when I heard about this movie, or whenever it was announced, maybe it was 2 years ago, I was so uninterested. Like, there was nothing about this movie. I never thought I'd see this movie in theaters. Never thought I would. And as we got closer and closer, and I saw promotional material and was reading reviews and talking to friends, and I was like, this might be good. And because I guess to me, I was like, how do you make a movie about Barbie and make it work? Not only did Greta Gerwig take that idea and make it work, she took that idea and made it great. This movie's awesome. I mean, I love this movie. I can't wait to buy the pinkest, thickest steelbook of this movie and sit it on my shelf and tell everyone I proudly love this movie. As soon as I got home from the theater, I got online and I ordered the I Am Knuff hoodie, because I can't wait. As soon as I saw it on screen in the theater, I was like, I'm buying that. And I did buy it. Guys, I love this movie. And I don't want my review to come across as being preachy at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I really am genuinely just trying to say, like, I do feel like some people missed some of what this movie's really about. And I think that maybe some of the people that they look up to or that they listen to and trust have misrepresented this movie. And I just don't agree with it. I do not agree with it. As somebody that has seen thousands of films, and I know a lot of you guys have seen thousands of films, you should be able to pick up on a lot of this stuff. You should be able to pick up on symbolism and messaging, and I picked up on all of it the first time. And I did not walk away from this movie going, oh my God, woke. No, I walked away from this movie going like, holy crap, that was a really moving human story for men and women about dolls. What the fuck? I can't believe I just said that sentence in the year 2023 about a movie called Barbie. I can't believe that I went and saw this movie opening weekend. I can't believe that I loved this movie. I gave this movie a perfect score, 5 out of 5. There's literally, aside from a minor nitpick here and there, there's nothing I would have changed about this movie. I think it is campy enough, it's satirical enough, it's got a strong emotional core, great performances. It is great. This movie's great. Now, I told you guys I was doing the Barbenheimer double feature, and I did. I saw Oppenheimer right after this. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do an Oppenheimer review. You guys let me know down in the comments if you want me to do an Oppenheimer review. If you follow me on social media, you know how I felt about that movie. Loved it. But this was solely for Barbie. I had to talk about it. I had to get some of the misconceptions about this movie out of the way. I wanted to clear the air. I wanted to give you guys my opinion. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about Barbie. So if you've seen Barbie, comment down below and let me know what you thought of it. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Listen to the You Need a Horror podcast over on Planet CHH. And coming soon, part-time, onto my channel. So if you came from the podcast and you're only subscribed to Christian, subscribe to me too. Because we're going to be doing some You Need on here every month now too. So, hit your boy up. Help me out. But, guys, overall, Barbie, it's a party. There's really nothing else to say. Check it out. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In. And I'm pulling out. I'm heading to Kingdom.